I'm Joe Peroni, and this is the Rise Above Project. For today's show, I want to talk about some ways to improve your life. And I want to gear this more towards young men, but of course, women are feel free to listen, and I think it'll help you as well. There's some good information here. Plus, you can give some of the information to the men you know. And if you're a mother and you're raising sons, I think this could be important as well. And being that the new year is coming up and everything is new and starting over, I actually want to take a little step back a little bit. So I want to go new year, but old school mentality on how to improve your life. And as you're looking at the visuals here, you got The Who, you got Jimi Hendrix behind me, you got the old Adidas sweatshirt. So we're definitely going to do some old school stuff. And I don't know, we'll see where this takes us today, but I'm thinking I want to be a little bit less professional and a little bit more real so people can, so they can hear what I say. So let's start off from the beginning. One of the main reasons why I want to do a show for young men is that I'm seeing this more and more in my therapy business. These young men are so disillusioned and they don't have any idea where they're going. And if you ask them questions about their life, they don't even know. They have no drive, they have no initiative, and things are getting worse. And the evidence will show that as well. Also, I go to this gym now. I've been going there now about 2 months, this brand new gym. And most of the people there are very young. And by young, I mean in their 20s. And what I'm noticing here is, in this gym, everybody's pretty serious with their training. But I'm noticing a very different change here because most of the people that are working very hard in the gym, that are there early and really breaking a sweat and doing the work, they're women. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love that. It's great. Working out, to me, is the best thing in the world you can do. But I'm wondering, where are all the men? This used to be a man's activity, working out, testing your strength. Seeing, if you're stronger than your friend and all this and working hard and trying to develop a physique. And there are men there, don't get me wrong, but what I'm seeing is they'll do a set, they go in front of the mirror, they purse their lips up, and they're trying to do these selfies and stuff, and they're trying to catch the light just the right way. And it's really off-putting as a man, as I can say, looking at this. And it's interesting too, because in between sets, they're talking, and I can overhear it. And I hear these guys talking about, oh, I wish I were loved, and all this weird, listen, we all want to be loved, and we'll get into that a little bit more in the show, but this is a very different situation that I'm seeing with these men. Very, very interesting stuff. Also, I've done some research over the years on YouTube, obviously. And what I'm seeing here is a lot of men, we'll call them men's life coaches, and they seem to be pushing this really dangerous false narrative that men are falling behind in work and school and just their overall life. And it's not the men's fault, it's women's fault, and it's society's fault. And I see that as a horrible thing and a horrible path. We're really losing our way. And somebody needs to say this, because when I talk, as you can see, I've got 350 amazing subscribers, by the way, thank you. But on the other hand of that, some of the people that I'm talking about, these fake men life coaches that are really using these young men and boys, and they're giving them an excuse for their deficiencies and incompetence. I look at, there's so many of them, and I look, there's 300, 400, 500,000 subscribers, sometimes up into the millions. So their voice is really loud and really expansive. And it's basically giving a lot of weak men with no ambition a place to go. And they go to these places in the parts of the internet, and they have other boys just like them telling them that they're fine just the way they are, and it's the women that are the problem. They'll say things like, there's more women in college these days. Right. So enroll in college. Why sit there and make fun of women? Oh, those horrible women. How dare they go to college? And then these guys can't get dates. And then they get, sometimes a little bit emotionally violent about that, women don't want them. And it's like, oh my God, those terrible women that have options these days. Oh, they can take care of themselves. They have jobs. They don't need you. They can actually say no to the losers in the world. And these guys are not getting any better. They're finding places where they can actually go to get weak. And then they feel somewhat supported and strong by going to these places. And I don't want to mention any names because I've actually done interviews with some of them on my shows before, and there's no need to push them anymore. But a lot of these guys are in the men's rights movement and stuff, and basically it's a women's hating organization, as far as I can see. And as much as I talk to some of these leaders, these thought men's leaders, none of them want accountability or responsibility for the men that they supposedly teach. They talk about not having enough fathers now. Well, listen, if you're a father, then be a father. Like, who's stopping you? It's like, what, are you kidding me? It's like, I'm so sick and tired of the blaming all the time. There's no part of a human being, by the way, especially a man, that would ever give away his power to say, oh, it's the woman down the street that's stopping me from my great success. And it aggravates me as a man. I get sick to my stomach just listening to this and watching this. And so let's get to some of the nuts and bolts of this, so to speak. So right off the top, the number one thing I think we need to do to improve, okay? Number one, be an expert at controlling the things that are under your control. Now, let's not blame society and women and, everybody else down the street. Let's take a look at the most basic of things, sleep. Okay, I talk to so many adolescent males, and I'll say, what time did you get up this morning? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You don't have an alarm clock? You gotta be kidding me. You don't have parents that throw you out of bed? Like, how dare you be sleeping all day long and not caring about anything? I said, what time do you go to bed? Oh, whenever I fall asleep. Really? Okay. So right away, we have to be able to control the things that we can. Start caring about yourself. Don't expect women to care about you if you can't even begin to do the basics of caring about yourself. Let's talk about nutrition. Okay, I know everybody knows the words, right? Oh, nutrition, eat good, this, vitamins, minerals, nobody cares. Let me tell you something, let's get down to the basics. What you put in your own body to run your own body is your business, and it's your responsibility. When I was young, even if we didn't have enough money, we would always look for, that one thing, one little serving of chicken or turkey or a little bit of beef or something, a hamburger. Then we would get like maybe a fruit or a vegetable and maybe a salad. These things are important. Today I see these boys running around looking for boxes. They want to eat boxes of garbage and cereal. That garbage can last on a shelf for like 15 years. How much processed garbage do you want to put in your body? And then you think it's like you're treating your body like a sewage system. You're supposed to be treating it like a temple. And once again, do you think anybody on this earth, including girls who you seem to have problems with, or employers, when you can't even take care of yourself and do the minimum amount to take care of you, who's going to give you a responsibility to take care of them? I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is nobody. Let's move on to fitness. Listen, we should all want to be the best of who we can be. You have a body, you develop it. It's the only one you have. You can get different shoes, and I see this in the gym too. Oh my God, I got the brand new shoes. They cost $150. Listen, I've been working for a lot of years, and I've made a lot of money over the years. I don't have $150 sneakers. You don't need it either, okay? Spend $9 and join a gym. It's ridiculous from what I hear from young boys today. Oh, I can't, I'm too busy. You're not too busy. I said that once to somebody a long time ago. They almost killed me. You want to know why? Because there's 24 hours in a day. We all have the same amount of time in every day. It's what you choose to do with it. So if you don't prioritize yourself, you're prioritizing something else. So it's where your priorities are. So if you're putting everything else ahead instead of your own health, that's your own fault. Don't expect women to look at you in awe because of your great V shape that you don't have, or for your abs that you don't have. And then you're going to make fun of some other guy because he does the work, and you're going to hate that guy, and you're going to hate all the women that look at that guy. Why? Because you don't have any initiative to do anything for yourself. Again, this show's not going to be overly professional today. This is man to a real world. I'm sick and tired of watching this day after day after day. My only, I have no regrets in life other than the fact of I'm getting older and I wish I could start over again. You know, it's like I have got more guts and more power in me than I see in any of these 20-year-olds at the gym. And most 55-year-old men like me will tell you the same exact thing. It's time to start caring about yourself. And I don't want to hear that you don't have enough money. When I was 12 years old, I used to run 3 miles to the Freeport Recreation Center so I can train. Because I could train there for like no money. And then I'd have to run back. So that's 6 miles of running per day so I can work out. You know how much it costs me to run? $0. And I didn't have $150 sneakers. I had the same sneakers that I wore every single day of my life. I don't even think I had a pair of shoes back then. 1 pair of sneakers, that's it. And when I first started running, I didn't even have a workout clothes. I had a pair of jeans that I ran in. So I don't want to hear it. Get out there and do something for your body. You have a pavement, you have feet, walk, run around your house, run around the block, do something. Half of you guys out there are an absolute embarrassment. You know, luckily you have mothers, because they're the only ones probably that'll give you some unconditional love. You know, maybe your dog, you know, and that's about it. But other than that, you're going to have to perform in this world and stop being angry at everybody else for being better than you when you're not doing anything in this world. Let's continue. Education. Boys aren't going to school as much as women are. Okay, and you're going to blame the women? Listen, if there was a place where there was much more women than men, I'd want to be there if I were you. Wait, you're afraid of women now? You're afraid of books? You're afraid of education? Go and do some work. How do you think you're going to make money in this world without having an education? Now, if you like something that doesn't take a 4-year, 6-year degree, fine. Get a skill. Learn how to weld. Do something. But you still got to go to a trade school, learn how to cut hair, be a barber. I don't care. Do something. And here's something else. Instead of playing Minecraft and whatever you're playing on the video games, why don't you take that time to actually maybe look at YouTube for something that's educational? I worked on Wall Street when I was a trainer back in the 80s. I didn't know anything about stocks. But I read the Wall Street Journal, not because I was interested in it that much, but because I could have decent conversations with people who worked on Wall Street. Doesn't that make sense to you? Don't you want to be able to connect with other human beings? I mean, if your expertise in the world is Fortnite or Minecraft, who are you going to connect with? You know, other little kids with no ambition in life? So start educating yourself. I drive 20 minutes to the gym in the morning and 20 minutes back. During that time, I can watch a whole TED Talk. I can be an expert on almost any subject you want, and that's just in the time that I'm driving. You tell me what your excuse is. Somebody out there is going, oh, I wasn't born with 160 IQ. You know, I wasn't born with this V shape. I can't do all these things. You know what? There's plenty of things in this world that you can control, that you're 100% in control of, that will make you a good, successful person. Here's just a little short list. Start being respectful. How about that? Show some interest in other people. Stop being so self-interested. Why don't you be reliable? Wake up on time. Go to bed on time. Why don't you give your full best effort? Nobody will say anything bad if you lose or if you fail, as long as you keep trying. And by the way, if you keep trying, you never fail. Because you keep going, right? There's no failure there. I don't know why I got to tell you this garbage. Except too many of you men or boys are listening to these fake men life coaches and giving them, I looked at one up the other day, he makes $3,000 a day off of you guys. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. It's disgusting. It is terrible. Why don't you guys start showing some manners? to your parents, to anybody, to women that you seem to have so many problems with. You know, stop thinking that trolling and making fun of people is now a new way to be a man. I know that you have some big man in the White House that you think he's a man because all he does is whine, cry, and complain, and he can never admit when he's wrong, and you think that's manly. I got news for you too. If you're a woman and you have a son and you're looking up to a man like that, you're crushing your son, because that's not manly behavior at all. It should not be looked up to. That kind of behavior should be crushed immediately. Making fun of people, trolling people, never having a decent thing to say about anybody, just using money and power to slam over people, never giving a thing about anybody is not manly at all. What you're seeing there is a man-child that didn't work a day in his freaking life. He was handed millions of dollars. And I can tell you, I live in Las Vegas. Half the guys I know that have a lot of money, that act like they're all above it, they're trust fund babies. And they're as soft as toilet paper. They're so soft. They couldn't make it if they had one little adversity actually hit them. And I've seen it. I've seen it. Bunch of wimps. Let's keep going. Number 2, you have to know what is not under your control. I'm going to keep this short. You know what's not under your control? Other people. It's that simple. When you try to control other people, nobody will like you. And if you keep pushing and try to keep getting better at controlling people, those people end up in jail. So let's keep that simple. Number 3, stop being controlled by your emotions and get to work. Again, I see this from people and I hear it, these boys, oh, I need to be loved. I want to be loved by this girl. Stop. You're embarrassing me. First of all, you don't know what the word love means. It's not a feeling, okay? It's an action. It's a verb. It's when you're a mature human being and you have confidence in yourself and you could look at another human being and be the best you can for them. It's what you give. It's not what you take. It's about encouraging your partner. It's about supporting your partner in what they're doing. And lo and behold, if they do better than you, you cheer them on. You give them a standing ovation. You don't put your tail between your legs and go crying like a little baby that, oh my God, she makes 50 cents more than me. Grow up. This world is equal between men and women. Some people are going to make more, some people are going to make less. That's just the way it is. You want to be loved? I'll tell you how to do it, because actually we all want to be loved, don't we? But you can't demand it when you're not giving anything. Most successful men care more about being appreciated, when we care about being respected. And how do you do this? You do this with ambition and concentrated effort and trying to have some level of mastery in the world. Notice I said trying. I don't know too many women that are going to throw a guy out because he loses something. It's the ambition of trying hard. Nobody wants to be around a person who folds like a deck of cards whenever there's adversity in this world. Try something and try to be good at something. The other week I was watching some bowling championships, and there was some men and women in this. Who cares about bowling, right? That's not a big sport. But I guarantee you the men and women that were competing for this world championship, they didn't have people around them that disrespected them. It's because they showed incredible effort and commitment to a sport to do well. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you can show commitment and effort to a sport and to anything, like I've been telling you, sleep or eating good, you can show commitment to a human being. So stop wanting to be loved. That comes after you start showing some ambition in your life. And what have you done to earn the respect of a woman or a man or anybody, by the way? Well, let's take a look at the top three things that young men do today. No particular order. You guys like to play a lot of video games. Good for you. You like to run away from physical and mental challenges. Oh, I'm so depressed. Oh, I have so much anxiety. I can't handle the world. Let me hide under my bed. Gotta hide under the sheets. Mommy, get me some tea with lemon. Do something for me. Where's my milk and cookies? Oh, and let's not forget internet porn you like. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, there's no woman right now that's calling up her mother going, Mom, I met the best guy ever. He's really awesome at video games. Every time there's a problem, he's got to smoke marijuana. He's great. And the kicker of it all, the best part is, he can jerk himself off in 15 seconds in front of a video screen instead of actually pay attention to me. Nobody's doing that. Why are you expecting to be loved when you do nothing that's worthy of respect? Let me be clear. You are not going to be loved by a woman if you have no ambition, and all you do is play video games, smoke marijuana, and masturbate every day. You're not worth much to anybody. You want to be loved for that? Get a dog. They'll show you unconditional love. I know we all say it, we all want unconditional love. There is no such thing. I hate to be the guy who tells you that. Actually, I don't. Your mother might give you unconditional love. My mom was kind of like that. But then again, she had a lot of rules for me. And she'd be the first one to rat me out if I ever lied. And she'd be the first one to tell me to get back up and go back in a boxing ring because I got hit in the head and I was dizzy. You know, she pushed hard. She never babied me. It's ridiculous. I don't know what you guys want. You know, it's you expect things out of life, but you give nothing. Let me be a little bit fair to you. Because probably now, with that type of personality, you hear one bad thing, and then you're off to somebody else, so somebody else can coddle you. And so the people who are listening to this are the ones who actually don't need to listen to it. How funny is that work? Right? So let me be a little bit more empathetic to your situation. Social media has been really, really difficult on men and boys because we're losing the ability to connect with other people and we're having difficulty dealing with face-to-face communication. And why does that affect boys more than girls? And I'll tell you, because even though that we're in the year 2020, moving on to 2021, boys are still expected to be the initiators. They're the initiators of the first date, the second date, moving in for the first kiss, usually, not always. The first time sexual relations happens, it's usually because the man moves forward. You know, everything in a relationship, including if things work out and then you want to get married, it's the man who asks for the woman's hand in marriage. And everything is based on, the relationship is based on the man in terms of that, the initiator. There's only one thing that women initiate more than men. And 80% of the divorces are filed by women. So every part of moving the relationship forward, the men are responsible for, and the ending of the relationship is usually mostly responsible for the women. Now, I don't want to get into the details of that, if they had real reasons or not. Don't care. What I'm saying is that a man or a boy needs a tremendous amount of security in himself. He needs self-esteem in order to do these things. When I was very young, we used to call it getting a rap. And the guy who could make a girl talk to you, not just say one word and walk away, but can actually talk, answer your question, and then ask a question back to you, we call that getting a rap. And it wasn't about getting a date all the time, but it was just about practicing of learning how to talk to girls. And if you were shy like me, the day before, I would write down 3 or 4 questions that I already had planned, which sounds terrible and horrible, but I needed to do that when I was young, about 11, 12 years old. And I would say, how's your family? Tell them, do you have dogs? And I would work that in, and I was scared to death. And you know what? Women are okay with that. They're okay with that. There's something about that that's endearing when somebody is trying hard. And at least they care. And at least they're asking questions. They're not like you guys now, texting and making no communication. So I get that. Also, let's talk about porn a little bit. The average boy right now is watching porn at 12, 13 years old. Okay, so technology has skyrocketed and is off into space, whereas physiologically speaking, we're still back in the Stone Age. You're not ready to watch porn at 12, and if you're older than that, you were too young to watch it then. You're not understanding what sex is, and there's no way in the world you're actually going to be good in bed if you're watching porn all day and you're learning how to get off just with you in 10 to 15 seconds off of a video screen. Heck, if you hear a girl's voice, it's going to be too much for you, right? Imagine if she touched your hand. Oh my God, things are done. Like, there's no way you're going to be a good lover. It's ridiculous now that you got 20-year-old boys right now having erectile dysfunction problems. Listen, you don't have a physical problem. You have an emotional problem. You don't have a girl problem. You have personal psychology problems. If you have problems at work or making enough money, you don't have a financial problem. Again, you have personal psychology issues that need to be worked on. It's a tough subject, but let's talk about this a little bit more with porn. Porn for adolescent boys is no different than, let's say, welfare or people who get disability checks that don't need them. Now listen, I'm liberal, okay? I do know people do need disability checks, and I do know some people need welfare. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who do take money from the government that don't need it. What it does is it kills their ambition to go out and work hard and maybe face the rejection of getting fired. So they would rather sit in the safety net, in the hammock, because they don't want to work hard. That's what porn is for young boys. The more porn you're consuming, the less chance you have of actually connecting with a real girl and having real sex. So that should be out, because you're not emotionally mature enough to handle porn in the first place. If you're mature enough, you would already be able to speak to a woman. You'd be able to connect with a woman. You would be able to watch porn with her. And it could be something you both could do. It's not something just to be there by yourself because you have nothing better to do. It shouldn't be that way. What else does porn do to you? It destroys your ability for delayed gratification. As a human being and as a man, that's a skill you need. Stop being in your feelings. I hear that all the time. I feel like, and then they'll say a thought. Those are thoughts, perspectives. We don't care about that. Stop wanting to be happy all the time. Happiness is a byproduct of doing the right things and being the best person you can be. You can't be happy just because. If happiness was the only goal, you wouldn't go to school and finish because school is difficult. You wouldn't be with a woman because women are difficult. You wouldn't have any relationship because all relationships are difficult. So stop trying to be happy. I don't know where this has come from. For all the thousands of years that people have been on this planet, men especially have never been driven by their happiness. They've been driven by meaning and purpose and being valuable. When you have meaning and purpose and you're striving for goals and you become valuable, guess what? You become happy. That's the way it works. You guys are putting the cart before the horse. It makes no sense. Sex is one of my favorite subjects, so let's keep talking about this. While this video is still long, who cares? If you're still here, great. So here's the thought. When you are with a woman, how much should your feelings get in the way sexually? If you want to perform, you have to get out of the feeling. Okay? You don't know what I'm talking about right now. Because you can't hear her moan or say something and then you're going to be done like that. You have to be able to have delayed gratification. Here's a little fun thing for you, okay? I practiced with this with my guitar. But this is a metronome. That's 120 beats per minute. At the same pace over and over. You should be able to have intercourse at a steady pace, no matter what she does or what she says or how she acts. But you should know your pace of what takes you to be able to last longer and to satisfy her. Because your feeling doesn't matter. There's a great book out called She Comes First. In order to be a good man and stop complaining about women and other men who actually are striving to be better, you should be able to do this like clockwork. Make up your own speeds, vary, but you get what I'm saying. If it goes too fast and you're done, that's your fault. You're letting your feeling and emotions get in the way. You want feelings and emotions? You should have that before you have sex, right? And during and after, but you should learn how to control your body. That's what I'm saying. You do have control over that. You think you don't, but you do. So this show has been, about 32 minutes. Okay, so let me review real quick. New year, old school mentality. Be an expert at controlling things that are under your control. Know what is not under your control, which is other people. And stop being controlled by your emotions and get to work. And here's something else. Stop texting girls. Get personal. Call somebody for once. Better yet, you got the technology, FaceTime. And you know what? Don't become a pen pal with a girl. Texting 50 times. Hi, how are you? What are you doing? Ask her out on a date. Take her somewhere. See her somewhere. I'm not saying spend a lot of money. I'm talking about go somewhere and have fun. And see a person eye to eye and have direct communication. Get rid of your phones all the time if that's all you're going to do with it is text people. It's an absolute waste of time. And it's making you into a thing, and I should say this, but I'm going to say it. During my time as a therapist, I work with a lot of people that have difficulty looking people in the eye, let's say. People who have autism, they're on the spectrum, they have a lot of difficulty looking somebody in the eye and understanding social cues. But listen, here's the point of it. When I'm dealing with people who have autism, one of the things that I would like to get out there is that because of modern technology, a lot of boys and men today are making themselves more autistic because they have no ability to look at people in the eye. And they weren't born with this. This is because of technology. They look down, they look all over the place, they can't talk to a woman, they have to text, they're afraid. I see these guys just going, you know what, screw it, I don't need girls in my life. And that's because they have no ability for social connection. I can help teach people with autism to be able to socially connect better than I can with this crop of boys that are coming out right now, because they're flocking to these fake men life coaches that are telling them it's okay to live in your cave and to not talk to people because it's everybody else's fault but yours. So I hope you found that show valuable, and if it was offensive in some way, maybe you probably needed to be offended, because the only people offended by it were going to be the boys. I know all the women right now are probably standing up, giving me a standing ovation, because the women and the young women that I know, and even the older women I know, they're just so sick and tired of these boys. I mean, some of them are men age, but they act like boys. Women love men who are assertive. They love men who have ambition. They love men who try real hard and know how to take care of people and also have empathy. These are things you need to know. So if you got to the end here, thanks for listening to the show. I'm Joe Peroni. This is the Rise Above Project. And help me out. Maybe I can get more than 350 subscribers to catch up to these other people who have 400,000 or 500,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you next time.